All right, news just coming in. Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke with BNP leader Tarique Rahman. In a post on X, Prime Minister Modi said, and I quote him here, "Delighted to speak with Tarique Rahman. I congratulated him on the remarkable victory in Bangladesh elections. I conveyed my best wishes and support in his endeavour to fulfill the aspirations of the people of Bangladesh. As two close neighbours with deep-rooted historical and cultural ties, I reaffirmed India's continued commitment to the peace, progress and prosperity of both our people." All right, DD India's Jessica Taneja has more information on this. She is joining us live from the newsroom. Jessica, Prime Minister Modi spoke with Tarique Rahman. What more details do you have?
That's correct. Tarique Rahman, the leader of Bangladesh Nationalist Party, won the election yesterday. And with that announcement coming in, the Prime Minister had tweeted earlier the day as well to congratulate the new elected Prime Minister of Bangladesh. And it is, of course, at a time where Bangladesh has seen an uprising in terms of the students' protests last year, where a snap election was called in. So this was an important election, also a referendum which the Bangladesh people had voted on, which would bring in certain reforms in a bicameral legislature. So an important year for Bangladesh as the interim chief, Mohammad Yunus, now retires from the top job, and now Tarique Rahman of the Bangladesh National Party takes over, and the Prime Minister had a brief conversation with him, and by congratulating him and continuing the diplomatic ties and the strengthened relationship with Bangladesh to that effect. But also important to point out how this election has been conducted, and now that the Bangladesh National Party is in power, in the contest were also the Jamaat-e-Islami, which did not get the majority. But at the same time, there's also a lot of questions that India wants to address, concerns that are still there about the Hindu minority and the targeting of Hindu minority and worship areas, as well as the massive protests that nearly attacked the Indian diplomats in Chittagong just a few months ago. So all of these concerns remain, but of course, when it comes to Bangladesh elections and how the country has voted and the leader they've elected, Tarique Rahman, of course, is the son of Khaleda Zia, who recently died. And her funeral was also something that the Indian side had attended, as well as maintaining relationship even back in the day. To recall, the Prime Minister had tweeted about concerns around Khaleda Zia's death and hoping that she'd recover soon. But at the same time, the Indian side has maintained ties with Bangladesh irrespective of the governance involved. But there have been concerns in the past, and those will be taken up in the future as well, of course, in due course of time. But at the same time, India remains a very crucial partner to Bangladesh, one of Bangladesh's largest trading partners in the region, and also with the kind of people-to-people ties that India and Bangladesh have had in the recent past, continue to move forward, except few of those concerns that India wants to address when it comes to targeting of the Hindu minority community, as well as the places of worship, and looking at the kind of stability now Bangladesh would have after that massive uprising that took place about a year ago. And now we're looking at a region which has seen and witnessed an election and will continue to be on the path of economic recovery, because the Bangladesh economy is suffering quite a bit, first because of sanctions, then because of the continued protests. The ready-made garment section and that particular sector has suffered quite a bit in the recent past. So the top job would that has been handed now to Tarique Rahman would have to ensure some economic stability while also internal political stability in the country now.
Right, Jessica, if you look at the post of Prime Minister Narendra Modi on X, PM Modi has in fact reiterated India's commitment to peace and prosperity for both the nations. How does this fit into India's neighbourhood first policy in the current regional context?
Well, Bangladesh has always been an important partner, not just now, but for many years. In fact, interestingly, this is the first time first time in 36 years that Bangladesh has a male prime minister. So interesting times ahead in the neighborhood. But beyond that fact of common knowledge now is also that the attempt at this moment would be to establish greater ties with Bangladesh. India exports about 1,000 megawatts of electricity to Bangladesh. India is a crucial link for power supply and even other infrastructure projects that have been built up in the recent past as well, and few in the pipeline. So India remains an important partner for Bangladesh's economic recovery in that sense, and India has provided aid time and again to Bangladesh, even offering line of credit as well, and one of the first responders, so to say, in the past, and it will continue to conduct those responsibilities as it did in the past.
All right, Jessica, also, I mean, as far as Tarique Rahman is concerned, what do you think will be the major challenges for him and also his government?
Well, he's taking reins from the interim President Mohammad Yunus, who seemed to have not had the clarity on many issues or the conviction of sorts in that sense to have those decisions implemented, especially when it comes to addressing the woes of the youth. There was massive unemployment and the issue with the quota, which was, of course, then later resolved by the Supreme Court of Bangladesh. But for him, it would be internal stabilization, because that is what Bangladesh needs right now. It needs less polarization and more unity in that sense to emerge stronger economically. Because if you look at the recent past, there have been swirls of protest in not just Dhaka, but beyond the capital as well, which have given a sense of uncertainty to the region, especially when it comes to its economic output. As I said earlier, the ready-made garment sector has suffered quite a bit, which has been making products and sending out those textile merchandise to various other European markets, including India. So that has, of course, been a cause of concern for Bangladesh, given the kind of flare-ups it has seen when it comes to communal disharmony and people unhappy with the governance structure, who now perhaps would have that stability, and his challenges should remain at least in the near future, because there's a lot of work to do and not a lot of time.
All right, Jessica, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for your inputs.